Hey everyone, Steven here. Today's video we're going to be covering 4 different techniques you can do to help activate your serratus. Specifically serratus anterior front side here. Now your serratus runs here and it actually goes underneath the lat. And it's crucial for keeping your shoulder blade up against the back while you do overhead or rowing movements. A lot of people are weak with this, so that when they go to actually lift their arm up or do an overhead press, the shoulder blade will have a tendency to actually come out from the back. And what that does is it puts a lot of pressure on the trap to do the work. Got a chiropractor that gave me the best analogy for what this is for. What she said, think of your arm as a diving board, right? And when you have a diving board, you don't want to try to secure it from the top. You want to do it from the bottom to make it stable. And that's really your bottom anchor for your arm, right, and your shoulder. So creating that strength here is what we want, so that the trap in the neck isn't trying to do everything, because unfortunately for most people that is very much the case. This is either not activated at all or it's very, very weak. So they go to, like I said, raise their arm up, row, lift their arm up overhead, and they're really using their trap. So you might have clients, or it might be yourself, where you're trying to have them do certain movements and really all they feel is their trap in their neck. Okay, so what you want to do is actually utilize those activation techniques that we're going to be covering today. And the cool thing is, with these you're still going to build strength in the muscle, and then over time you can progress to more difficult or load or weight bearing exercises that you can do to really strengthen it, because it is pulling that shoulder blade up against the back. If you notice when somebody goes overhead, or if they're doing like hand foot crawl, we call that hand foot crawl movement, bear crawl is what most people might know it as. That shoulder blade is winging out, they're loading their neck, right? So start to notice those things, how you're using your body or your clients are using their body, so that you might see this pop up that, we're activating here and we're not utilizing this. So what you're going to need, loop Thera-Band right here. This doesn't have to be heavy at all. I'm going to show you a couple progressions with some of these. Some of these you might not be able to do. That has more to do with mobility, and that's actually going to apply to the first one that we're going to do here in a second. You'll need just a regular Thera-Band, a foam roller, and then a suspension trainer, TRX, whatever. I have the G-Strap Pro right there. So first one that we're going to do, you're going to take the loop band, you're going to put it right around the wrists. I'm going to show you these at a couple different angles, but once I'm here, what I want to do is keep the elbows in tight. I want to stack them on top of my knees as I'm here. Okay, so I can either be out a little bit or I can literally just stack them. Now once I'm here, okay, I want to make sure everything's in alignment. I'm going to externally rotate my hand, meaning I'm going to pull my hand out like that and then back in. It's a very, very short movement. Okay, as I do that, and I want to keep that elbow where it needs to be. A lot of people try and move their elbow. We don't want to do that. As I externally rotate that, you're going to feel in the lat and through that serratus. A lot of these movements, you might feel like you're predominantly just using your lat, but keep in mind that serratus actually goes underneath that lat, so that's fine, okay? So here, you'd externally rotate, and we would do 10 of these, and you could do this per side. And the cool thing is, I have mobilization and stabilization with this, meaning one arm is moving, the other one has to stabilize. Some people find it difficult that they can't get that low like I am right there. Maybe they're here, right? As long as their shoulder is down and loaded, that's fine. We don't want to see those elbows out at that set point. Like I said, you have to keep those elbows in tight. That's the job of the serratus, is to help hold those elbows in tight like that, okay? So if I'm at the front here, we're here, loaded, and then externally rotate. Now, maybe that's too much, right? Maybe I'm here and all I have to do is pick up my hand lightly and then just externally rotate, right? As I do that, and this is almost like neurological training, is what I tell my clients. You're really just trying to get the body to recognize, oh, this is what it's supposed to utilize. So we're putting ourselves in positions where we're trying to isolate that as much as we can, so that when we do more complex movements, we don't have to worry about it, okay? So that's with the Thera-Band, like I said, 10 per side for that. And now we're going to transition up to the wall so I can show you what I call a Serratus Roll with the foam roller. Alright, so this is the Serratus Roll. You're going to need a foam roller for this, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to place it on the wall, okay? And once it's there, it's the same position that I had over here, where my elbows are in tight, right? So if I'm here, my elbows are in tight. We don't want those to bow out like that, right? have to keep them pulled in tight. The second I do that, right, and I pull in tight like that, you're going to feel that lat and that serratus contract to hold that position. So once we're here, we want to keep it tight, and then essentially what you're doing is you're letting the arms go up and you're extending up like that, trying to keep that in tight. I could do this without the wall, just like you're seeing here, right? The wall just gives a good marker and allows it to be a little bit more smooth with the foam roller as it's rolling up the wall. I could also do it if I wanted to just literally glide my arms up the wall. That's something I could do. Or if I wanted to utilize a stability ball, right? I would take the stability ball, I'd put it here, I'd be further out obviously, and I could roll that way, right? Which then I would have to almost like push a little bit into it to hold it, to get that to fire just a little bit more. So, but once I'm here, I'm gliding up. What I'll notice is that people have a tendency to force a range of motion that they don't have. So as they're going up like this, they'll either bow their body forward like this to work around the fact that they have a really, really tight thoracic spine, upper back, or as they start to come up here, they're going to just lose it, and they're going to basically go like this, and they're going to do whatever they need to get to the top. I always tell clients, your body's going to figure out a way to make any motion or movement happen that you're telling it to do. It's just, unfortunately, at the detriment of your body a lot of times. So we have to keep those in tight. I want you to pay attention to the fact that you need to glide up straight as far as you can. That's about it for me. And then come straight down like this. I'm going to shoot another video at some point where I'll show you some thoracic spine openers, but also give you a test that I learned through Katie Bowman's restorative exercise to show you really what your shoulder range of motion is, which is typically a lot shorter than you think it is, because you're moving around this tightness to go up overhead. With that comes moving around, activating that serratus. So once we're here, it's placed. My hands, let's say my thumbs are about, I don't know, chin, mouth level. Here, I'm standing upright. I don't want to lean. I want to be upright here. And then I push this up, extend as far as I can. I'm about right there. And then I come back down. I will feel that tighten and fire, right? If you're doing this, or if you're having clients do it and they can extend all the way up, unless they're just hypermobile, usually it means that something's going wrong and they're kinking out the elbows, or they're dipping the hands in, right? Or they're too wide. In tight, extend, and like I said, the wall is a good marker because it forces you to go straight, because what people will do if they're just standing here sometimes is they'll start to go here. They'll actually extend out from their body more instead of trying to go straight up. With this, I'm going to do 10. Slow and controlled. This is not a fast movement. I don't want to see anybody going super fast with it. I really want it just super slow and controlled. Hit that peak, pause for a split second, and then come back down. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and transition over to the suspension trainer and then the Thera-Band. Alrighty, so this is the suspension trainer part. And essentially what you're doing is a shoulder press. So you'll walk up. I want to get as close to a straight line as I can, as far as being vertical versus me at an angle, right? Straight up like that. Elbows, I want to pull them in just a little bit. I don't want them to flare back in like this. And then you'll actually end up doing a test press where we go up and I'm like, I know I can move just a smidge more forward and then come down. Big part with this is keeping the ribs down, and I'll show you a side angle here in a second of me doing this. But once I'm here, I want to hold my ribs down and then press up, go straight, and then come back down. As I do this, this is obviously pulling me back, right? And this follows a curve, so as I go up, right, if I was to throw it, it'd just do a big circle. But it's curving this way as I press up, right? It's following that curve. Well, it's pulling back. So, as I extend my arm up, it is being pulled back here. My serratus is tightening to make sure that I hold everything flattened down. So when I say I don't want to see your ribs go up, people will get here and they'll go for a press, and they'll arch their lower back like this, right? They're either going to do that, or they're going to keep their hips forward and they're going to move their arm here, right? Which is really signaling what their shoulder range of motion is. They're either tilting their pelvis to move around that tension to make it look straight, or they're just straight pushing it out. And if I'm out here, guess what? You're going to use this. You're going to use that trap in that neck to anchor that. So as I'm pushing this up, my arm's getting pulled back. I have to make sure everything stays down and flat. We call that ribs down, right? This is being pulled back. That will tighten. That will fire just based off of that. And I'm not clenching this. My palms are open. It's just a light glide As I come up, that gets pulled back, it activates that. This one I'll do 10 presses. I mean, it's really just going to be 10 on everything to start. At some point as you build up a little bit more muscular endurance, you can start to do a handful more reps, 12, 15, maybe 20. At that point, you really are transitioning to heavier weights or something like that. But with this, we're doing 10. It's the same thing that we did over here with the slight pause at the top. Make sure that that squeezes and that fires, right? And then we come back down slow and controlled. None of this stuff is fast, right? We are building up that neurological connection that you have to the body, that you can actually feel this. As I come up, I can feel that firing and then coming back down. Eventually you'll be able to flex it. I always tell clients, like, if I put my arm up like this and I'm here, you should be able to flex that serratus anterior, push into it, right? If you're not there yet, right, you don't have that mind-muscle connection just yet, that's one of those markers that you can use to say, hey, I'm actually getting a little bit better. I can either squeeze it directly as I start to pull up with some of these movements that we're utilizing, or I can sit there and actually flex it. At that point, you have to be wary of flexing too hard, because then people get a little bit too excited when they're doing the movement, and they'll go and they'll flex too hard. In these positions, when that's there, that muscle can cramp, and then your arm's going to want to pull directly down to your side, so be careful with that also. And we're going to go ahead and actually just transition now that we're here into the Thera-Band. So with this, I just have a blue. Typically I'm going to use a blue or the black Thera-Band. You might be a little bit lighter on that, and that's okay. But once I'm here, I'm going to anchor it to the door on the side here, and you're going to do a straight pull, right? Straight pull like this. I'm going to grab either hand right here, and then once I'm here, standing upright, I'm not going to bow forward for this, I'm just going to pull that straight down to my side, and then I'll come back up. That's it. With this, when I'm holding my arm here and I'm coming down, there's a little bit of bend in the elbow. It's not completely locked, but it also doesn't have a huge bend. Slight bend. I want to try and make my grip and my arm as relaxed as possible so that the bottom of that diving board, right, or arm, is going to anchor that and pull down like this. This is one of those things where you're really wanting your client or yourself to just concentrate on the fact that you are in complete control of the muscles. You need to dictate what's tight and what's relaxed. Tension versus relaxation is what we talk about a lot in MoveNat, and understanding where you are tense and where you need to be relaxed is very, very important. As I do that, I can begin to feel, oh, as I pull this down, my serratus anterior flexes, my posterior shoulder girdle flexes, which is your lat and a whole bunch of other muscles. It's going to squeeze down here, and then I can relax, okay? So I can come down, I can squeeze really, really tight through there, not through my arms or my chest. Just that lat, that serratus, and all those muscles around your shoulder blade. Get a good squeeze, and then come back up, right? So squeeze, and then come back up slowly. I'm just going to come back about parallel to the ground. I don't need to go higher than that. Same thing, you're going to do 10 of those. Now, typically with this, if you were to do all of these, I would honestly just say you need to do 2 rounds, right? But you can pick and choose. Maybe you're just going to do the Serratus Roll for 3 rounds, or the external rotation with the Thera-Band for 3 rounds, or this for 3 rounds, right? I would definitely say include it on your upper body days. So if I'm going to do chest or back or something like that, make sure you're doing this with that. And I would actually have it precede those other exercises, meaning do this first. Let's activate that serratus anterior so that it gets the cue, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. So when you go lift, doing bench press, dumbbells, push-ups, whatever, it's actually going to fire with that as well because you've already activated it, okay? So I hope this helps. If there's anything else that you guys want to see, definitely hit me up, let me know. I'm going to be pumping out more of these medical exercise ones. I'm still working on some of the home workout, some of the MoveNat home workout videos as well. Getting more into the nutrition side also here in a little bit because that's what my degree is in. This is all of the medical exercise stuff that I do with my certification. I'm a medical exercise professional, so this is all of that. But if there's something specific you want to see with that also, just let me know so that I can get some of those videos to you as well so you can do this at home or at the gym. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you've seen, please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos.